So I just wanted to briefly go over what some of the daily assets are, in my opinion, for vloggers, whether they're vlogging daily, weekly, or just basically regularly. I think there's kind of three things that I've learned from watching a lot of videos. I haven't quite got the hang of them yet. I mean, from technical aspects like the lighting in this scene right now, it's not ideal, to a lot of other things. It's really three things that I think make a successful vlog, and I'm going to work on these three things to really make my videos better. I think the first one is being prepared. Like I say, the best camera is the camera that you have on you. So if you're not prepared with the right gear, basically it's just going to look a mess. Let's say you're trying to get a time lapse of something and you didn't prepare, you didn't bring a tripod. It's going to be really, really hard to get a good time lapse of that. It falls into a lot of things like charging your batteries, formatting your SD card, working with your gear, as well as planning your day. If you don't have a structured sort of timeline of what you're going to be doing, even if you're freestyling it and it's a vlog, you kind of want to have some general idea of where you're taking the story. And that brings me on to my second point, which is story. Now, a lot of successful filmmakers and even vloggers and YouTubers have said story is king, and it really is. But it matters a lot in vlogging. At the end of the day, you are telling a story. There is generally some kind of narrative behind it. You're showing people your life, your day. So it's really important that you structure some kind of story, even if it's just loosely, whether it's you're going to the cinema, you're going to accomplish something, you show your starting, your journey, maybe throw a problem in. Like I don't know, you missed your train or something, or you're running late for your train, and then a resolution, you get there. So really, really basic three-part narrative stuff. My last part is gear. Now, gear is essential to making videos. Now, gear isn't everybody's cup of tea. Lots of people love to spend time and money researching it. A lot of people don't, because some gear, especially in modern filmmaking, can be quite difficult to understand with all the computer and technical jargon. But actually, it's much easier to understand today and much simpler to use, edit video, film video, than it was when we were using film and practical effects, practical stuff. But basically, my point with gear kind of reverts back to my previous point about story. No matter what gear you have, if you're telling a crap story, like I've got all this fancy gear and my story isn't great yet, so the videos aren't going to be top notch. And even though it might look good, it might not engage with the user as much. So basically, focus on your story more than your gear. That being said, with your gear, do your research. Buy potentially secondhand from good sources like resellers, and you can get some really good secondhand deals that way. But basically, don't get too obsessed and don't think that you can't do the video if you don't have the gear. But when you are going to get the gear and the equipment that you need to make your videos, such as drones and tripods are a real essential piece of kit that really you can't live without. But you can pick them up cheaply these days. Gear is so cheap these days for camera equipment. Yes, you can end up spending thousands and thousands of pounds or dollars, thousands and thousands of pounds on all these fancy lenses and tripods and gizmos and stabilizers. But at the end of the day, it's becoming more and more affordable. And the most basic kind of thing, I mean, you can pick up like a phone tripod GorillaPod type thing for like £20 here in the UK. So I don't know why you wouldn't just do that. And you can make some amazing time lapses doing that. So to summarize, you've got to focus on three things when you're making videos. You've got to prepare, know your story, you've got to understand gear to some extent, and be confident when learning about it. So I think if you follow these three steps, you'll basically, have a path to success. Prepare links to all of it, really. You've got preparing your gear. You need to make sure you've got your batteries charged, you've got your tripod ready to pack, or you've got your camera set up ready to go. Otherwise, you might miss a time lapse or whatever. Also, make sure your story's good, because none of this matters if your story isn't there, because the story is king. It doesn't have to be an amazing story. It just has to take people on a journey. It doesn't even have to be that amazing. It just has to provide a minute of escapism, especially with vlogs. What you're trying to do is make people think that they want to be you for a minute. Just for those 5 minutes or 10 minutes or however long your video is, it's making them want to live your story. So please, forget all the other stuff if you have to, but focus on the story. I'm starting this morning off pretty cold, and I'm actually quite ill. I can't tell if I need to take cold and flu tablets or hay fever tablets, because I've got a cat, but I'm actually allergic to cats. So whenever I'm sneezing, I can't tell if I'm ill or if it's just allergies. So I talked a bit earlier about being prepared and why you might not necessarily need all the expensive gear. It's like -5 and I haven't bought any gloves or hats or anything because I wasted all my money on cameras. so I'm walking around, I'm skateboarding around. My hands are just absolutely freezing. Just realised that I haven't actually eaten anything apart from some chocolate, and that's probably why I'm getting tired. I can barely push the skateboard. I've just realised that it's actually quite hard to find things to say. I'm the kind of guy that I can walk home with somebody and not say anything, so the idea that I'm going to talk to a camera on my own is really quite strange. So this box here, I think, well, I know what's inside. I've ordered a couple of things, but I definitely know what's in here. So let's get it open. So these are actually for the Philips Hue starter kit. What's in the box is actually the lighting strip, but you have to buy the starter kit, I think, or at least a bridge to get it all working wirelessly. So I thought I'd just bite the bullet and get the starter kit. Now, I can't actually use these yet because they use a different fitting to what my light sockets use. So I've got to wait for an adapter to go to the bayonet type so that I can use these here. Now, one thing I forgot to mention about the light strip is that it's actually got a sticky back, so it's got some adhesive on here. And I'm going to fit it to the desk just behind here, so hopefully the wall will have a nice glow, and I might get rid of the poster that's behind there as well. Now, what I'm going to do to start with is I've got some blue tack, and I'm just going to stick this in the position I think I want it and test it out, set it up first, get the lights all working then. Otherwise, I don't want to peel off the back and cut it and everything, only to find out it's not quite going to look like what I want it to. I'm